should be fine. So, let's eat some food and get going. 10 seconds. And then every time we kill an enemy, we will gain movement speed. That's what this food is for. Right, there's the buff. There's that. Timer starts. And in we go. I'm pretty good, thank you. Oh, I can use it in dungeons, that's really useful. Stuck on the wall there. Oh, that movement speed is really... that really throws me off massively. Okay, that's really cool. I've never had this much movement speed in these dungeons. I really should have tried that first. Oh well, right. So that's one down. Oh, we get this movement speed as well. That's not how you do that. I could restart, but I've got a lockout now, so I'm not going to bother. There we go. Oh, the rare spawns here as well. That doesn't seem to stack with any of the other speed boosts, but good to know at least. Maybe it does. Maybe we're slightly faster. Splatoon's a good choice. I've not played it, but I have heard many good things about it. The numbers next to the splits are the amount of bosses we've got to kill in the dungeon, so I can keep count as I go through to make sure I am killing everything. The rules for the run are that you've got to kill all of the bosses in the adventure guide. So if it's not listed in the adventure guide, you don't have to kill it. Missed it, that sucks. The speed is really off-putting. And I don't know if it's actually helping with this trick, because it's pushing me further forwards. Go away. They're not even leaving me alone. That's lovely. This is absolutely terrible. But we have like a ton of time to make up on the record, so it doesn't actually matter. But I don't know why I'm missing this now. There we go. Still faster than waiting for the gate. Done this a lot faster in practice, so it's a good start, I guess. Being downhill gives me another run on Saturday to improve the splits. This is also actually a really good test to see if we still get locked out when we go really fast. I've got an add-on that shows me how many dungeons we're locked out of, so we'll see. And that is one dungeon. So split. The splits might change when I might change when I split each time, but it should be when I kill the last boss, like the last hit, so I get the time right for the last one, but it doesn't matter too much. And now, unfortunately, we've got to fly all the way to Scarlet Monastery and Scarlet Halls. I've got another add-on that shows where all of these dungeons are on the map, which really helps line things up. But we can easily get that dungeon under 3 minutes. Easily. We lost like 30 seconds on that first trick. So at the start of each dungeon we've got to remember to get as fast as possible those 5 stacks from killing enemies. After that we want to avoid as many as possible. Unless you're outside. If you kill all the enemies when you're outside, you move faster, which is useful to know. Annoyingly, if this character existed 2 years ago, we could have fast travelled to Stratham or Scholomance because of the challenge mode dungeons. You unlock portals when you get a gold to each of these dungeons, and Scarlet Monster and Scarlet Halls, so you could save like 2 minutes there. And maybe a bit of time if you were an engineer, if you had a portal to Tanaris. But it's tiny little things. And again, it would affect the lockout timer, so that's what this run is for. See if we can hit 2 hours, see if we can actually get locked out of any dungeons. I should have been recording this locally in case anything went terribly wrong, but that's fine. I can download the VOD from Twitch and upload that. Scarlet Halls. That was also really good, not getting dismounted on the way in. 5 sacks. Okay, he's dead, so I'm not getting knocked back anymore. You are still stuck here until he dies. Unfortunately, you can get on top of them, sort of, but not inside. Yeah. Now, it is important to note there's some dungeons where some bosses aren't shown on the right hand side of the screen over here, and there's some dungeons where some bosses are shown that we don't have to kill, because it asks you to kill all of the bosses in the adventure guide. And the adventure guide... Can you teleport while you're in combat? I don't know. The adventure guide lists some bosses and not others. I'm going to split when I teleport out, I think. Makes it... I'm on a loading screen so it doesn't waste time. I've got to be careful not to press leave instance instead of teleport out, otherwise I am just dead. I won't have anywhere to get out of the dungeons. So this time I'll get dismounted. Yeah, there we go. That's fine. Still got the speed boost. Then there's the wisp form because we're outside. Really useful. After here we've got Gudu Stratham, which is a longer dungeon, slightly, so... Perfect. So, Scholomance. Gotta be careful in Scholomance, the first boss can actually kill you if you run into the ice wall. It's a one-hit kill. It's not based on health, it's just based on percentage, which is just 100% death. So you have to jump down before you pull her so she doesn't summon the wall up top, and you need to not run past until the coffer that she's in is dead. Other than that, the dungeon's straightforward like you would expect. I think this is the most flying we have in the run. There's no nicer way to get between these dungeons. Everything else we've got to do is it's nicer routed, it's cleaner, I think. So We'll see how it goes. I've got to keep an eye on my buffs as well. When I reach the hour mark, I've got to re-put a Bear Tartar on. And I do get a speed buff whenever I kill an enemy, so I should be killing as many enemies as possible. Like, not skipping stuff if I can help it. But don't go out of my way to kill things, just stuff that's in my path. Because I've got instant attacks, you know. Make sure the dungeon difficulty is set to normal, yes it is. So she'll cast that and then go into here. And I kill that. Now she's dead. It's 2. Die. So we're just stuck in here waiting until Battlegors spawned. Come on. There we go. Come on, open the door. She's got to fight him before she opens the door. There we go. Last boss for Scholarmans. Done. I'm going a little bit slow clicking teleport out just so I don't hit that leave instance. Now, I wonder if it's possible to reach there in 45 seconds. I don't think it is. If you've got the speed buff and you're outside, you can fly without mounting up, which would save a second and a half, but it doesn't look like it's possible. So I'm just going to end up flying all the way there on my regular mount. And it's not worth doing it halfway through and landing because it's still 1.5 seconds no matter where I cast it. If there is ever a flight that takes less than a minute, like this one will take less than a minute, then we could potentially do that. One other thing I'm worried about that I don't know yet, but we'll find out soon, is if these two portals, because of the same dungeon, count as 2 lockouts. So we're going to find that out probably in about 3 minutes. So Stratham, then Hearthstone. So there's 13 bosses in here. There's two wings. So there's like 5 or 6 in the last one. There we go. Just kill all these as we've been past. So yeah, the world record kills the Postman here, because the Postman, the Postmaster, is listed on the right hand side, but he's not listed in the adventure guide, and the rules for the category say that you have to... Oh, the respawn isn't actually where he's supposed to be, so I've got to look for him, which isn't ideal. In fact, He does always spawn, doesn't he? Yeah, there he is. So I had to go a little bit on my way. I got a little bit of bad luck then. Turns out there's RNG in this run. So if he spawns where he's supposed to on the map here, then we'll save like 10 seconds. But yeah, so the Postmaster doesn't appear on the map and doesn't appear in the adventure guide, but does appear on the right hand side as a bonus objective. But the run specifies kill everything in the adventure guide, so we don't have to worry about killing the postman. But the current record run did kill the postman, so hopefully that's not a problem. Like, I'm following what the rules say, you know, so if it doesn't count for whatever reason, I mean, I can do it again and change it, but it should count. And it's not worth killing him if it doesn't count, because it does just waste like 20 seconds or so. Really? That's not pleasant of you at all. Stop it. Knocking me back. Knock me forward at least. Like that, that's not that terrible. I'm not done in Strathome yet. I almost split then, but I'm not done in Strathome yet. So there, we are locked out of 5 dungeons currently, which is correct, because Strathome is the 5th. Locked out of 5. And it all comes under one journal entry, so this is where we will find out if we're going to have a problem by being too fast. They should still say 5 once we go inside this one, so fingers crossed. Oh, look good, we're halfway through in 15 minutes. That's slightly concerning, but we have got Blackrock Depths and Blackrock Spire coming up, which are longer, so fingers crossed. Please still say 5. Still says 5. That's good. And now we just have to double check that it still says that after we kill a boss. Yes, it does. That's perfect. That's how it should be. Really? Silenced? You're a level 60 mob, how do you even land a hit? Oh well, lost 2 seconds. Big deal. Go through these gates, so when they lock, we don't get locked in. That's all 3 of those done. So based on all, we've done all the bosses apart from Ramstein and Aureus, which is the last 2. So that's Aureus done. And Stratholme done. So now it's Black Fathom Deeps. Now I don't know for a fact if we actually need to teleport in and out if we're going to hearth, but it takes so little time, it's not worth the risk to not do it. So we did Stratholme, Hearthstone to Astronaut, Black Fathom Deeps. 20 minutes, so I'm in shapeshift form, so it won't let me mount. Right, go away then. Because I wasn't on the ground, it landed me in the air. Good to know. We're still locked out of 5. That's really good. So we've got Black Fathom Deeps, Blackrock Depths and Blackrock Spire, Alderman, and Stockades. Will they take 42 minutes? No chance. We're going too fast. But this is always going to be a problem at some point in the run. If we get locked out, I'm going to have to learn another speed game that takes like 10 or 15 minutes and play it in the downtime. If this ends up always locking me out, if I'm going too quickly. I don't think there's any way to optimise this to not lock me out based on this speed, but we'll see. We'll see. This is what this run is for, to test the route, see if it can be improved. Here we go, Black Fathom Deeps. Black Fathom Deeps has 8 bosses. There is one. There's the second. Number 3. Can't kill him early, unfortunately. I don't think you can kill this crab early either, but I'm going to try. No, you can't. Okay. So that's 4. We have 5. increases your swim speed, which is really useful. That's 6. And we've got 2 more, which are both in the last rooms. Now these enemies can silence or stun you, which is really, really horrible thing to do. So I want to clear out this room as much as possible, or pull as little as possible. Like that. These don't count as dying, because they're not giving me... That one counted as dying. The ones in the wall don't count as dying, so they don't give you the speed buff. Which is interesting to know. And that's Black Fathom Deeps. So teleport in, teleport out. And then we are using the Dalaran Hearthstone. So I could be losing little bits of time here, but I'd rather not risk it resting up. Dalaran Hearthstone. So here it's faster to not mount. Now there's a slight concern with these longer dungeons that I'm going to forget the route that I thought of to get through them. "13 seconds isn't long enough to make it, so I'm going to have to mount twice. That's fine. So I should just mount. If I killed a mob right before I left, or if I half-stunned without teleporting in and out, that could potentially be good. So now, part of the route is we set our half-stun here. Now we fly to Blackrock Depths and Blackrock Spire. And hope that this takes long enough that we don't get locked out. Blackrock Depths takes about 9 minutes, maybe 8, so that'll be 27. Spire takes a little bit less than that. Then we've got Alderman and then one more. From Alderman we're going to Stockades, so we are going to get locked out of Dead Mines for a little bit, it looks like. Maybe not a huge amount of time. We'll have to see. So I need to look where... I haven't decided which I'm going to do first yet. I need to see where the entrance to Blackrock Depths is. Okay, we're doing Blackrock Spire first. Yeah, I put it in my splits as Blackrock Spire. I figured this out already and forgot about it. Here we go. Just kill those 2 to get some speed. And then these 3 for the 5 stacks. Just die. Oh, that was close. It cancels your falling when you... Or you're gliding when you try and use an item. So if that had missed, I would have been devastated. Grab the pike, come down here. That's 1. I don't remember where I said I was going next. After this room. Oh yes I do, I remember. I remember the route. It's really cool, actually. There's 2. There's the third one. You're not on the list, you can leave me alone. Rare spawns, go away. Oh, here we don't risk this jump because I almost missed it in practice. So we just come up here, we don't just go to the side. Oh, that's bad. That's super bad. Are we stuck in the wall? No, we just couldn't glide anywhere. That's nice. So we lose time here. So much for it working in practice. Oh well. Doesn't take long to get back up here. I think for safety's sake in the future we're going to go straight up above and then drop down. Kill you while we're here. That's actually not that bad. Really. So we take your head. Come up here. All of these tricks are harder to do with movement speed increases. And now we wait until the boss spawns. Come on. That's him. Quartermaster dead. You dead. You dead. No, I'm going to kill these dogs just because dogs can see through invisibility, and if that hinders me teleporting out, I'll be really sad. If they attack me and make me kill all the enemies. Oh, I missed him. That's really good. Can I kill him just from here? Yeah. Cool. And you can teleport out while you're in combat, so I don't even have to worry about killing everything in the future. I should have split there. Okay. Blackrock Spire was fast. Got 43 seconds as well, so I don't even have to mount up. That's really cool. Oh, thank you for spawning right in front of me. That's a nice little speed boost. As is that. Now, Blackrock Depths is actually really cool. There are 18 bosses here that we have to do, so I've got to try and remember all of them in the right order. But the main one that is a pest is Balgar. He's so far out of the way. That's really cool. He's so far out of the way that it costs a lot of time just coming to kill this one. But that is one. And we do have the map to use if we need it. It does show all of them. We checked this before, it shows all 18, so... 2. If I'm unlucky, he'll be right at the back. Yeah, there he is. 4. Lined up nicely. Now here's a really cool trick if I can get it right. If not, it will waste time. So hopefully we get it right. Start this fight. But then... oh, come on. Leave the arena while the fight is running. And come and kill this boss. Now missing that jump the first time didn't actually lose any time because we've still got to wait for the arena fight to start. So he's still opening the gate. So he's just opened the gate now. So I haven't lost any time at all. That was also really fast. They spawned really quickly. So how many bosses is that I've done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is number 6. Super fast. Super, super fast. I'm going to lose a little bit of time by not buying the Dark Iron Ale ahead of time. That's fine. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bosses. Go down here to open this. Get a little nice jump off that burner there to get me over the wall early. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because I've done the Pyromancer. Now we're coming through here. I'm glad I didn't fall down there, that would have been unfortunate. It's lovely that you're right in my path, thank you. 8. So here I want to drop combat if I can. There we go. Now I need to talk to you, not kill you. Do your quest. Let you start walking, I guess. There we go. Now come and kill Hurley. And be careful not to start a brawl. I need you guys to all come in here and then die without me hitting anything. There we go. He's not on the list, even though he's there. He is a boss, but not on the list in the adventure guide, so that's fine. Now he's going to break this thing. And summon this guy. I can't remember how many I've done. So he's evil. Kill him. Kill him. Jump over here. And kill him. Who is a boss but not on the side. So in the world record, he wasn't killed, which technically means the world record didn't kill every boss. But we're not going to split hairs. So while I'm running up here, let's work out how many bosses I've killed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, I think. That's all of them apart from... Don't miss this jump. There we go. That's all of them apart from the last 4. Yeah, it is. Don't think I've missed any. Double check. No, I don't think I have. This dungeon takes less time when you've got a speed boost for killing enemies. Oh, this is the rare spawn, but he's not actually on the list, so it doesn't matter. That was good. Oh, that finally appeared. I dropped combat. Where's the Flame Warden? I've been too quick. So he's not in the right position. There's one. There's the other one. The flames aren't unique, but I'll get it in a minute. Mark him with a skull. Now, just don't make me... If they hit me, they can interrupt it. Okay, but they weren't good enough to hit me. That's good. Gotta kill this one. Please don't. Perfect. Last boss. Die. Movement speed. You die. You die. Dungeon done. Teleport to dungeon. Split. Teleport out of dungeon. And now we're heading to Alderman. Locked out of 8. We've got 19 minutes left. So that suggests that Alderman and the Stockades have to take 18 minutes, which just isn't going to happen. There's no chance it's going to happen. What I could do is change... I can't change the route on the fly, could I? No, I'm going to Alderman, but I can just do it like this for now. I'm going to the wrong door. This is why I did this one last, to come out at Spire. And come out in Searing Gorge. Yes. Now I do have to mount up. So we'll find a convenient place to do that. So if we do Alderman, and then instead of Stockades do Dead Mines, we would have to fly there. And then we can do Stockades later on when we come back to Stormwind. I would have to change all my splits after the run. Apparently Alderman's in 2 places. Oh, there's 2 entrances, isn't there? wonder if that entrance would be faster, if it is actually worth it. Where does it come out? I don't know. Doesn't matter, I think this one's faster for all the bosses. So Alderman and then Dead Mines maybe? And I can just keep the splits but change the route later on. Where's the entrance? I flew right over it, didn't I? Oh no, it's up here. There we go. Do I do Alderman then Dead Mines? It might be Alderman then Dead Mines. How long am I locked out for? 17 minutes. I don't know if Alderman then Dead Mines would fix the problem. Okay, there are 7 bosses here and all of them are marked on the map, so that's cool. Yeah, thanks for the warning, saved instances. I've entered 9 recently and I'm approaching the 10 instance per hour limit. Thank you for that warning. There's one. I've got to wait for this door to open. That isn't in the journal because I'm not Horde. There's 7 bosses in the journal, not 8. I think Horde can kill that one, but it's not in the adventure guide, so it doesn't matter. Are you killable yet? No. That's 2. This is a slightly slower route through, I think. Like very, very slightly, if it is slightly slower. Actually, no, I don't think it is. I'd say. 4. I could have gone through the shortcut there. That was a little bit slow, but only very slightly. 6. And the last one is coming up down the stairs. Got 14 minutes left on this lockout. We're not going to be able to do it the way we wanted to. So I think we're going to try and change the route on the fly and do stockades right at the end before Temple. I think it's the only way we can do it in any sort of... We have less lockout time, basically. So it feels worth it. I just have to remember to do it, that's all. Alderman. Can't teleport out in combat. Okay, so combat does matter. And after Odin we're half into Stormwind, is what this was for. So we skip Stockades and go straight to Dead Mines. That's what we're doing. And hope it works. So all of our splits from this point on will be wrong. In the name, but the times will be correct, and then at the end of the run I'll go through and change the names to be the correct, in the correct order. Because we've got 12 minutes to wait, and if we do Dead Mines now it'll get us closer to that time, so we won't be locked out for as long. It gets us a chance to get to the next dungeon and we'll lose less time. And just remember I've got Stockades to do. Don't forget Stockades. Stockades is right at the end. Okay. Minutes. Dead Mines isn't going to take 11 minutes. We'll see how it works out. This has always looked the same. It's really nice. It feels familiar, even though there used to be enemies in here and now there isn't, unless there's a rare spawn every now and then. It feels really nice to, even though it would be faster if there was enemies, it feels really nice to be running through a corridor that I ran through 10 years ago. So this is, I'm not going to tell you, so this is my last dungeon for the 10. And it will tell me on the left, I'm sure, that it's my last dungeon. Yeah. You've entered about 10 recently and you're approaching the 10 instance limit. Yeah. That's fine. By the time we get to the next one, we might not be locked out, potentially. Especially if we've got stuff like this to wait for. Yeah. Three. Yeah, Vanessa doesn't count as a boss, does she? That's interesting. There's probably a really cool fast way up this ship, but I haven't actually looked. That's pretty cool. That'll do. but there is an invisible wall there. I remember that from the past. 4. Let's get in his pot first. 5. Perfect. Teleports dungeon. Split. Teleport out of dungeon. So we've done dead mines, so we're using the $1.50 stone. So all of these splits are named wrong, which sucks, but they'll be right for Saturday when we do another attempt at this. Then again, getting the first dungeon faster, I don't need to mount, getting the first dungeon faster isn't going to help, because I'm going to be locked out. Caverns of Time, that's this side. I've only got 4 minutes left on my food buff, so I shouldn't be locked out of places for very long. But I am going to be locked out. I could use the time to edit my split names, but I worry that it will mess them up, so I'm just going to leave them and change my document while I wait, so I don't miss Stockade at the end. Now the good thing is, Zul'Farrak is longer than Shadowfang Keep, so Shadowfang Keep reset. If then Zul'Farrak and then getting to the next dungeon should be slower than getting to Scarlet Monastery and doing Scarlet Monastery, so the lockouts now should keep rolling. Especially with Dire Maul coming up, which is a long dungeon. These lockouts won't be a problem going forward. Which does suggest it can be optimised slightly, this route, to not get locked out. But we'll see what end time we get. If we end up getting like 2 hours, or 2 hours 2 minutes or something, there's not much we could knock off. Because the limit would be like 2 hours. But I would like to not get locked out at all, if we can help it. So I guess we'll start by trying to enter. Oh, okay, forget that, it worked. Cool. I'm not going to complain. I've entered 11 instances recently and I'm approaching the 10 instance limit, so we better be careful. I'm not using the super fast mount that the guy used here in the run. I'm going to stick to the route I found, because it cuts across the map, if you get it right. Like that, that's good. Kill one of these to reset the counter. Perfect, that worked really well. Boss 1. Boss 2 couldn't be further away if he tried. Boss 2. Boss 3. Please die. Dust Wraith, go where? That wasn't what I wanted. Click. There we go. I'm in combat again. those. He's still going to open the door, so instead of waiting, we're going to go get this boss. We don't have to kill Hydromancer Volratha because she's not in the journal. Only Gazrilla is. And it's the journal that is the important bit. It's the adventure guide. That's this, the adventure guide. That's him. So I'm pretty happy I didn't get locked out. That should have killed them both, but never mind. And that's all for Rack. And now there's quite a flight to Razorfen Downs, so we might not get locked out of that either. We might just be good. There might be no lockout penalty, which would be superb. It would mean this route worked exactly as it should. Yeah, Razorfen Downs. The splits are really bugging me. Right, we're flying in a straight line, so I'm going to fix my document so I don't forget. So, move stockades there after Halfstone Stormwind. Put it down at the bottom after Dalaran Halfstone Stormwind. Like that. That is fine. Does what is expected. And we'll fix the splits later on. Let's see if we get locked out of here, because now it's a constant worry about every lockout. So first I've got to eat a bear tartar. So that's a nice 10-second grace period where it might not lock us out. Who knows? Come on, bird. It worked. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Get the speed boost going. Five stacks. Boss one. I don't think you can make that jump. No, you can't. You can make this one. That's two. Now I actually fell out of bounds here in practice. It's not worth it. I felt you can get underneath this map and it is not necessary. It doesn't save any time. It is completely pointless and you just have to hurf out if you can. Can't do it any faster. Oh, well he was right there. So now... Oh, I got that first try. That was incredible. That was so good. So now we've just got to get this correct. Like that. And then miss it. That's awesome. Oh, you can just get straight up if you're careful. Okay. So I don't need to jump down anymore. So it turns out if you do this dungeon really fast, you can kill that boss while he's walking around the far end, which is super quick. Now the last boss. That's 5. I pressed the wrong button to split then, so I hope it didn't break anything. I don't think it did. Oh, I dropped a tiny amount of frames earlier. I wonder what caused that. Obviously it was doing the speedrun and trying to go fast. It's got to ruin your video proof just a little bit. It's fine. So are you going to let me in here as well? Yes. They haven't removed this limit, so I am just doing it. This is a perfect route, it looks like. And I kept my speed boost, but I triggered a trap. That sucks. That's fine. There's one boss. The other boss is over here. There's boss number 2. Three. After this, there's quite a flight to Diamol, so we shouldn't get locked out of that one. And Diamol is super long, so there shouldn't be any problem getting locked out of any of them after that. This should be the last one that could have been a risk, unless Diamol is locked out. If Diamol's locked out, that sucks. Ignore the rare spawn, he's not on the list. It's a very exclusive club, my speedrun. And that's this dungeon done. Then from here, there's a very slight detour. I'm pretty sure I killed 5 bosses in there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I killed 5. That's cool. So now there's a very slight detour up to this flight point. Now Diamol is to the left. We're taking a very slight detour up here for time-saving reasons later on. And hoping the end of the route works out, because I'm looking at this now and the timing is going to be tight. So yeah, we've got this little detour to set this as our half star. Diamol we go. Nice long straight line. So Nurmbergen's pretty long. And we have to fly from Iron Forge. Then we've got Hearth, fly Wailing Caverns, fly Rage Fire Chasm. That should take 20 minutes. Yeah, that should all take 20 minutes put together. It's pretty long flights, and Wailing Caverns is a pretty long dungeon. I can see it taking 20 minutes. I can hope it does. If it doesn't, we'll have to wait. So there's another point where we might be waiting at the end, but not because of lockouts. So is there any way I could improve this? Can't do that right now. I'd have to go do those two at the top. Instead. Then use the harvester and then come back here and do diamol. That could work. If we get locked out, there's a route I can change. I can change this slightly so it doesn't happen. Potentially. Potentially. We will see. We'll see what happens. So Diamol has 16 bosses, which is less than Black Hawk Depths, but it's split into 3 dungeons, which is horrible. So it would be nicer to not have to traverse through 3, but they are all incredibly linear, pretty much. There's nothing you can really do to make them faster. It's just a case of doing it right, quickly, and not missing anything, because if you miss something in these, you're screwed. It takes a long time to get back. And that is not where the entrance is, that is where the entrance is. Every loading bar is scary, in case it doesn't work. But we seem to be okay. So Pucillin isn't in the book, even though he's a quest mob over there, and is like a boss. He isn't in the book, so we don't have to kill him. Also, the thing on the right hand side hasn't showed up at all, so that's interesting. But there are 16 bosses. I know where they all are. We'll count them together. And that's one of them. Two. I've got to go up here. Nearly forgot a boss. But nearly is fine because we didn't. He's right there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's only 4 in this one. There's Evrim up here and then him. Yeah, then the next one is Tendrous. That is all correct. Yeah, we're all good. 3. Got to wait for him to open this door. Well, that's okay. There isn't a faster way to do this. Consider trying to do it backwards. So you would jump down, get him to open the door, and then run out and jump down and do the last boss, but that is actually slower because the path from the first boss to the here is too long. But I have considered it. To and from. So that's 4 bosses done. Unfortunately, this will probably put us... Oh. Oh, that's awesome. It puts us right near the entrance to that one. It's actually probably better to do that one next because we're flying up afterwards. But it's such a little difference, I'm not going to bother. I'm going to stick to what I planned. It will lose like 2 seconds if that. Oh, I actually did it in the wrong order anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I'm not doing it in the order I planned. But the list has now loaded. Cool knockback, thank you. So that's 6. Even though he doesn't appear on the list, he's in the book, so we kill him. Seven. I don't think there's a boss there. I think he's above me. Oh no, there he is, he walks around. That's 8. And then Rush and King Gordok are both the last 2, so you kill them at once. Yeah. Skip these dogs. Don't have to go in stealth after I've killed these. It's them. Now we've got to clear all 5 of these pillars. And the reason I didn't want to stealth at the end of that dungeon is because when I've killed this boss, all of the trees run up to attack me. And if I don't stealth them away, they can root me and cause me massive problems. So kill him, then Shadow Meld to reset them. So how many bosses are left? I don't remember which ones I've done. Okay, it's just these ones. Ilania, the Magister, Emilthar and Torthwoodin. That's it. And that's perfect because they're all in this dungeon, so I ain't missed any. Apparently I'm locked out for the next 40 seconds, so we've done pretty well as far as routing goes, I think. And we don't want to do this left one first, because when we've killed this boss, we want to be going back over there, and that's closer to the right one. Die. Thank you. Now just the prince left to do. After die more, we fly up to Maraudon, which we have a route planned out for, but we've never done the full dungeon. It is a complex one. We'll be fine though. Kill him. It didn't mark him off, it never does, but he is dead. Teleport out. Diamond is done. And I hate that the splits are off, but we'll just have to live with it. It's stupid, but hey ho. Oops, there's a roof. Good to know. Up to Maraudon. What have we got left? Maraudon, Gnomrigan, Whirling Caverns, Ragefire Chasm, Stockades and Temple. And we're not locked out of dungeons. At all. Gnomrigan has an unbearably long boss fight right at the beginning, which is mandatory, because it's in the adventure guide, unfortunately. It's a boss that no one ever kills in a run of Gnomrigan. If they're running it, like if you sign up as the dungeon finder, it just never gets killed because it's slow and horrible and there's just no point. But we have a point, so we get a little chill session where we're waiting for that boss. I think we're absolutely fine now. So we just have to hope that Gnomrigan, Whirling Caverns and Ragefire Chasm take 20 minutes, including travel time. If they don't, then we are losing some time. Not a huge amount of time, because we'd have to fly down to Theramore and get the boat, which wouldn't be pleasant at all, if the boat even still runs from Theramore. We're going to try quite a interesting route. We're going to try and do something that is could potentially be a problem. No, we're not. We're going to do it normally. We're going to do it right. Seems we have to leave anywhere. Do we? No, we're Hearthing. Okay, let's try the obscure, tricky, potentially dangerous route. Why not? Live dangerously. So we need to get our speed boost, severely lacking right now. Four stacks. And then surplus to 5 stacks. I'd rather he be dead, but he's out of line of sight now, so it doesn't matter. So there is actually Rock Grip as well, who isn't listed on the side, but does need killing because he's in here. Stupid splits. I do think it was a good move though, changing the route midway through. Kill you. Kill you to maintain that speed buff. Jump down here. Now there is no sensible way to get to Rock Grip and then back up to the princess. So you kill the princess first and then jump down. and hope that Rock Grip, after you jump down, is friendly and right over there instead of down to here, because that makes it take longer. That's you. Now we jump down and get Rock Grip, wherever he is. Where is he? He's over there somewhere, isn't he? Oh, don't jump me backwards. There he is. But he's coming towards me, so at least he's not terribly slow. Thank you very much for the follow, Sneaky Turtle. Fantastic name. Great to have you watching. Okay, out of combat. So now we're teleporting out to take us back to the entrance, which is slightly scary because it might add a dungeon on, but it shouldn't. Oh, it takes you right back up there. Okay, so it doesn't actually save that much time, but it does save time if you wanted to get out from here, which we don't, so that's a shame. And now we do the rest of the dungeon. Now if this doesn't work and I do get locked out, the route would change in the future so that we did these after the other stuff. Because then we would have... Okay, so it does count those still dead. Perfect. Because then we'd have longer between the half-stone being required. First boss just up here. I think it's slightly slower to run around the edge than it is to run through the middle, but then you need a way to be able to jump up. Did I run right past him? That was stupid. There we go. Let's go get the next one. We get the epic music from the South Park episode. Some of the best music in WoW. And then it disappears. You get it for that teeny tiny room, which sucks. It'd be nice to have it for the full dungeon. So now something really important to not forget. I wish it stopped giving me that quest. Something really important not to forget is this boss down here. Now, instead of teleporting out, we head back. Because the path to get through the orange section is very long, and then it's incredibly windy at the beginning. So instead, we're going to run back and do these in reverse, because that will be faster than going out and back in with 2 loading screens and then running through the cave and then the entrance to the dungeon. So I was happy when I discovered that we might be able to do this. Boss to the left. And then you. I don't know what just happened there. Oh, it teleported me here because I killed him, I guess. That was both of them. That's that dungeon done. Oh, and now we're teleporting out, and then after that dungeon we are using the Dalaran Halfstone. And now we are hoping and praying that this next bit takes 20 minutes. We need to go through to Ironforge. I should be able to fly without mounting up. Yep, super useful. And we're off to Nurmbergen. Nope, let me mount up. I don't want to be in shapeshift form. So if this doesn't take 20 minutes, if it doesn't take 20 minutes to do Nurmbergen, Wailing Caverns and Ragefire Chasm, including travel time, we're stuck in Ragefire Chasm until my Halfstone's off cooldown to get back to Stormwind. Nurmbergen. So we really need to not be locked out and just hope it takes 20 minutes. Nurmbergen does on its own take 6 or 7 because of the stupid first boss fight, so that is probably the saving grace of the route. If it does take 20 minutes, this could take less than 2 hours. Should have got the Stormwind Cloak to get you back. You are a genius. That is absolutely incredible. And I don't have the Guild Herald to buy it. That is a fantastic idea. If I'm stuck waiting, that is what I'm going to be doing next time. That is absolutely superb. I wish I'd thought of that. That is fantastic. I didn't think that existed. Yeah, there's the one that takes like 8 hours and then 4 hours and then 2 hours, isn't there? I don't think I need more than one. I think one is all I will need to actually... I don't think it's ever faster for me to have more than one. Maybe it'd save a few seconds instead of having to set a Halfstone potentially. But I'm going to look into that, because if I can use a couple of those, then we can save time setting the Halfstone. Maybe even do something else. That's really good idea. And then I would worry about instance lockouts, because I think we were right on the edge of being locked out. So that would have been risky. There's actually a different route I can do that would negate the need for that completely. What if I'd done... When I use the Halfstone next, when I finish this dungeon and go back to Fort Triumph, if I'd done the Diamore stuff then instead of now, it would have potentially been... Oh, I missed one. It would have potentially been slower, which would have been good. But I think it's all very close. But that is a genius idea. This boss is what makes it possible, I think, the 20 minutes. At least I have my 5 stacks for once I'm done on the boss. Then the route for it is go through, jump down. This is the bit that I've got to remember. This boss is a bit of a pest to reach. Yeah, that cloak would actually even just save going to Dalaran instead and flying through the portal. So it would be a little bit faster in that respect, probably. Come on, Gribbis, hurry up. I think he's spawning now. I think this wait gives us the time to fill. Guess not, it was just a wait halfway through. Final charge is set, apparently. There we go. Done. That boss sucks. Wrap of Unity. I don't know if that's the name of the... I don't think it's the name of the cloak. I don't know where that would port me. How do you get that? What is it? Which one is that? That's the name of the one from the guild. That'll port you to Stormwind then. If it's the one that you get from the guild. The same as, I think like the Cloak of Coordination is another one. I think that does the same thing. Just have different cooldowns. I just completely forgot they existed. Right, so now we drop down here and find the correct door. And it's this one. Yeah, Stormwind. It would have been nice to have one of those. Oh, where in Stormwind? Probably the guild hall, the one that's on the opposite side of the Flight Master. Either that or the tower, like if he'd have there, or portal there, I guess. Okay, now just Thermoplug left. I don't think it'll be necessary looking at the time on the Hearthstone left. We've got 10 minutes 40, and Wailing Caverns is, and the flight time between Wailing Caverns and Ragefire as well. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Would it be good to use Jaina's Locket? No, because it goes to Dow. And it would be faster if it took me to the tower. and rather than the guild hall, if it took me to the guild hall, the clerk, it would be faster to use Jaina's Locket if it didn't have loading screens. But because it has loading screens, it adds an extra loading screen on and the flight time in Dalaran, so it's not as fast, I don't think. But that's actually a good suggestion as well, because I do have access to that right now. Namrigan's done. Now we have to Fort Triumph. I don't know if I need to teleport out every time. I still don't know if I need to before I do it. I'm just worried that if I go to another dungeon without teleporting out and then teleport out and back in, it'll take me to the old one, which could actually be beneficial for route purposes, but I don't think it would work like that. But I don't want to risk, when it takes like 10 seconds to try it, to teleport out and back in, not even that, I don't want to risk it. Okay, it says we're not locked out, and we've got 1 minute left before another one releases, so we're definitely not going to get locked out of the dungeons. It's just a case of getting to them. Cloak takes, okay, then the cloak is definitely faster. But if this halfstone is on cooldown when I'm done, I will use Jaina's Locket if I've got access to it, which I should have. But it's not a toy, so now I don't have access to it. So it would have been useful if I had one potentially this run, but I don't think it will be. With 8 minutes left, Wailing Caverns is going to take nearly that long. But yeah, that cloak would do the perfect job. In fact, I'm going to get one and use it anywhere. Just because it skips a loading screen of having to go through to down with the halfstone. So I'm going to get it anywhere and put it on the bar. Move this over and it can go up there permanently because it's a useful teleport to have, just in all cases. Die. Die. But I do know now, if I finish this dungeon and then teleport out and back in, it won't, like, you know, right now, I can't do the boss. But I know that if I teleport out and back in, when I've done all of it, I'll be able to. I don't have to worry about it not working as it should. So Wailing Caverns has 8. There's 1. And there's 2. Brassiest Knuckle. I'll check when I'm flying to Ragefire. Is it a toy? I don't think if it's not a toy, I probably don't have it on this character. There's 4. It's a nice little shortcut, that. Oh, a ring. Cool. There are 8 bosses in here. It's just not showing the 8th one on the side yet because it's mutinous at the end. There's 5. I might have the Diaper remote, I don't know. Is that a toy? I don't know if they turned that into a toy. I can't check this very second. If they turned it into a toy, potentially, if it's account bound, but this character's never done Brewfest. So if it's not account bound, I don't have it. If it's not a toy, then I don't have access to it. It would be faster to get me to Blackrock Depths, though. Is it Blackrock Depths it takes you to? That actually might not be faster because of this tunnel. I thought it would take me to the entrance. But it's good to know when I teleport. That's the wrong way as well. It's good to know when I teleport out where I'll be going, at least. Then again, I have to drop through and go back through the dungeon. It might actually be faster still. But it's definitely off cooldown. We've got 2 minutes left, so I don't need the cloak this run, but I will use it in the next run because it will save 10 seconds, 15 seconds. So still excellent, excellent thought. And while I'm waiting here, actually, because there's no more mobs to attack, I'll check if it is a toy. Don't think it is. No, it's not. So I don't have a diary remote either. It's annoying because there's a lot of little optimizations that could be made if this character existed a while ago, like before Legion came out. Like having the portal from challenge dungeons to be able to get to Scarlet early. Like having, if I had engineering, if I'd known I was going to do this when I created the character, I could have taken engineering instead of the two gathering professions. No, instead of leatherworking and skinning, I could have taken engineering and had a teleport to Tanaris that would have been slightly faster. Like, not really faster, you know, it saves a very little bit of time, but it does all add up, I guess. But then I don't know how close I was to being locked out of the dungeons, and that's what really worries me. I could have been a second off getting locked out, and then if I was a second off getting locked out, nothing that I do matters. You know, none of it can be faster unless I change the route, which I'm considering doing. Because the timer starts when you enter the first dungeon, not when you leave it. So you have the time, you have 2 hours minus the time it takes to clear the first one, I guess, is how you can do it. Or maybe being in Raid Finder breaks it and it doesn't count them. I don't know. It should count them. But I'm not complaining. The current record is 2 hours 8 minutes. It wasn't a particularly polished run, or particularly optimised run. And it was done on a warrior, so I don't know. The second place for this is 2 hours 17, and that was on a demon hunter, so I'm looking at knocking potentially 20 minutes off that. But it's difficult now for this not to be record, but maybe it could not be. I could mess up somehow. Or it could not work out. We'll have to see. It's nothing to do with not looting. It could be to do with Raid Finder. I honestly don't know if that has an impact. And that is Wailing Caverns done. Now we're flying off to Ragefire Chasm, and this is scary because this could single-handedly end the run because it is inside Horde territory. It's inside Orgrimmar. So if the Horde kill me, that's it. It's basically over. Because then I have the painful thing of going back to my body and not being able to mount because there's Horde around and having to get into the dungeon. There is a cool little path you can take inside. I don't know where the entrance is, but I'm going to look for it. It's amazing how long the end of the run is. Like, if you look at the last 3 here, they've been 10 or 11 minutes each, whereas some of them earlier on, like Shadowfang Keep was like 3. It could have been 2, but I was terrible because I just turned on and I hadn't warmed up. Invisibility pot would be cool, but I would have to dismount to use it, and your Horde is nowhere near strong enough to kill this character, thankfully, because you have the ability to, but it's not happening. And you don't know Orgrimmar anywhere near as well as I know Orgrimmar, so you wouldn't even be able to find the entrance I'm going in. Thankfully. It shouldn't be a problem. I should have to fly over this side wall and fly into a cave. I don't see it being a massive issue. The issue will be if I'm locked out, but this says I shouldn't be, so not a worry. It'll all be fine. I don't think I'm going to get under 2 hours, which is really annoying because I'm close to 2 hours. No. No, 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 no. Leave me alone. They can see through stealth. Okay, let's go. Lucky it's a tank. Oh, and it's put my PvP object automatically on my bar for me. So I flew too low. That was the problem I had there. But we are fine. Not even a worry. But yeah, the mistake I made there was I flew too low and I flew into one of the enemies. So I lost a little bit of time there. If I'm just over 2 hours now, I'm going to be so annoyed because I lost it because of that. Not being able to fly in the cave. That would have been what lost me the 2 hours. Yeah, you have played for a year longer than me. All of that time I took off in Legion. It did add up quite quickly, but it's good to be back. So from here, we're just going to teleport straight from the inside. I'm not teleporting out of this dungeon to Hearth. Forget that. It's a stupid idea. Dalaran Hearthstone. And now we've got stockades. So I'm going through to Stormwind. It's really nice not having to mount to get through this portal. In fact, I might not have to mount to get to Stockades if I'm fast enough. Yeah, Stockades and then Temple. And then we're done. Oh, I didn't split for Whirling Caverns. That was silly. I don't remember what my skip split button is, so I'm going to just split now. I didn't split for Ragefire Chasm, sorry. It's confusing me now. The split's being wrong. But it's fine, there's 2 splits left. There's this one, which is Ragefire, and then Temple. So we'll back up to track then. And I'll just go through and change these afterwards. But yeah, not going to be 2 hours, unfortunately. I don't think. Oh, I don't even have to rewatch it. All of the split times... Oh, I mean, for the Wailing Caverns one, I'll just skip the split. I can make it blank. I can just make that completely blank. And then set a time next time. I don't have to rewatch it to get a time. And then... final dungeon. It's going to be so close to 2 hours, but it's not going to be. I can't do this dungeon in 2 minutes. Could potentially do it in like 2 minutes 20 seconds, which is going to really bum me out, but I'm going to run this again on Saturday, so I'll be able to get it in 2 hours then. I will be able to get it under 2 hours then as well, unless I get locked out. This is still knocking a massive chunk of time off the record though. This is a super easy world record, and it's still easy to reclaim as well if someone wants to do it in the next 3 days. This can actually be faster as well. I'm missing a legendary that gives me movement speed. I'm missing a ring that gives me 10% faster movement speed, which is obviously very useful to have. Going to be so close, I'm devastated. I don't know how much time I lost in Orgrimmar, but I don't think it I don't think I lost this much. Maybe with the Shadowfang Keep stuff I lost this much at the beginning, but I can get it under 2 hours no problem unless I get locked out of stuff, so I'm still going to be happy with the time. Can I get it in under 2 hours 1 minute? That would be nice. Yeah, I can do. 2 hours 37 seconds. Did I lose 37 seconds in Orgrimmar? Yeah, probably. Still, super happy with that. Super happy with that. Just going to check that I did all of the dungeons. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Yep. Yeah, they've all been done. And I'm pretty sure I did every boss as well. I've got all the numbers of bosses and I killed them all. So, and that was every boss in the adventure guide, which is what the rules say on the website. The rules say every boss in the adventure guide. Yeah, falling down in Blackrock lost me 30 seconds as well, easily. Was it 30? 20? Maybe 20. Yeah, I lost a good minute in this run, easily, a minute. But I don't know if those mistakes made it so I could get into the dungeons. I don't know. But yeah, really good run. I can't actually get out of here because my Hearthstone is set to